There we go.
Cool. Let's run it. You can do the intro.
All right, five, four, three, two, one. We got people in the house. What's up, Cindy Green? She's like, oh, washing dishes. I don't know what she's doing over there. Oh, drinking wine, my favorite. There we go. There we go. And then we got Tyler. We got Prisma. Prisma's joining us now. We got the whole crew. I got a whole people on a bunch of Instagram DMs. They want the link, and I'm like, well, it's too late now. I should have posted earlier. But we have a special guest. I don't know. We're gonna find out, right, if he's special or not. Um, he's. I think he's a real doctor. Based on our limited interaction, Zach, I thought you were a physical therapist or some sort of doctorate degree, and you help people. And
That's
then
it.
randomly, I got this like Instagram post. It was like it was you, and you were like, the doctor makes house calls or something. I don't know what the ad was, and I was like, oh, cool. He's probably just expanding his business. Like he's just trying to promote himself. Like 2 days went by, and more Instagram, and I was like, wait a minute, that says the lead doctor. And then it dawned on me that has nothing to do with like my personal well-being and the health and safety of the future of the world. It has to do with like actual leads. Are you a real doctor and a lead doctor?
So yes, so yes to all. So a few things. I am a doctorate. I'm Zach. I reside in Fort Worth, Texas. My full-time gig is I am a home health physical therapist. I do have my doctorate in physical therapy. I've been in this setting for 11 years, and so um, over the past few years, I've been in real estate, and so kind of what I found myself doing is similar to what I do in my regular routine. Is I'm kind of starting to diagnose and tease apart people's processes within inside their wholesale and real estate businesses, and so the name, just came to me in a vision, and I was like, oh, this is key branding right here. So you weren't
It's
entirely
almost as
wrong.
good as don't buy real estate. I'll tell you that because
Yeah, and not as good, not as good, I
it's
admit.
almost there. It's almost there because it made me look twice, and that's what the
It
goal
did.
is with social media.
Exactly.
And
It
I didn't.
confused you.
Yeah, it confused me
It made
quite a
you
bit.
ask for more clarity.
Yeah, because
That's the
I just
hook.
thought you were a regular doctor. So it's cool. You have best of both worlds, really. You get to do real estate and you get to help people in like health and wellness type thing. And um, I think that's a perfect world for me. I'd love to do that any time of the day. But talk to us about why are you doing both? Don't you get paid enough doing just one? Like, why are you even helping us in this world?
Yeah, great question. I got into this space like 2 years ago because I listened to this guy on YouTube, like called the Trading Fraternity, and he said something about like I needed to save 10% and
I've
listen
heard
to
that
his
guy.
music.
Bad
And
advice.
yeah, buy TLT calls and
Yep.
what were some of the other things? Yeah. Anyway, have a long term and invest in real estate. So that one stuck with me. So I started to kind of figure out, what do I do in real estate? There's so many different directions that you can go. I stumbled upon wholesale real estate. I did a few things on my own. I had the opportunity to work with some different companies, and I find myself kind of in my own experience. I was dealing with a cold call company, and I'd been in mentorship, and I kind of knew what the industry standards should be for like this is what your contact rate should be, this is what lead to offer rate should be, and so paid I paid five figures to have this cold call company run these leads for me, and I start getting the leads in, and I was like, well, these are trash leads. I mean, this person said they wanted $1 million for their house. It's worth 100,000. Why is the contact rate so low? So this was advertised as a done for you service to where all I need to do is call the leads and convert. And it turns out I ended up having to troubleshoot a lot of the back end of like, yeah, you're not screening these leads appropriately. The market is wrong. This wasn't done correctly. So I kind of found myself doing this on my own just because that's part of my personality. That's part of what I have to do for my work is I'm having to work with clients, patients, identify key limitations to what it is they're wanting to be able to do, and then try to kind of figure out a plan on how to address those individually. So I found myself doing that in business. And so I had opportunities to do that for one of the companies that was running my inbound marketing later on. They said, hey, look, we've got a few clients that are struggling. They're blaming the leads. We need someone basically to go in and tell them like that we don't suck, like they're the problem. I was like, well, I'm the guy then.
Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the guy. Sign me up. And I mean, that's interesting that you say that, because it seems like every wholesale company and cold call company and real estate agent and real estate company, they sell the dream, right? It's only X amount of dollars and you're going to get 10 leads a month and this and that. They don't sell the process, the procedure, the follow up, the touch points, and they kind of just send you, once you swipe the card, it's kind of over. Like with the relationship, it's you're on your own, and that goes for CRMs, that goes for cold callers, that goes for those pay per leads, that goes for meta ads, like that goes for everything. They just want you to swipe the card, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say. We're going to do a 4-week series with you if you have the time, Mr. Doctor, on processes, procedures, some insight from you on, do we do cold calling? Should we do meta ads? And what happens when these ads come in the into the CRM, or do we have a CRM? And hey, I don't have money for a CRM, so we're going to talk about all that stuff.
For sure.
So I kind of want to start with, like, I'm raw. I'm a new agent. I'm a new wholesaler. What do I do first? Is it go out there and get leads? It could be, right? I want to hear your opinion. Is it, let's set up a baseline. Let's get our systems in place. And if I could go back 20 years, I think that's what I would do. I don't know what your take on it is, Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor, thank you for that title. Yeah, the lead doc, Zach, whatever, man. It's fine. It's cool.
I like Mr. Doctor.
Yeah. Okay. I'll own that.
My doctor in
So-
real life is like this fat, out of shape guy. So I'm never get like, he tells me that, like, I go in once a year, and he called me overweight. I was like, all right, man, like that's, and he told me that I was close to getting like diabetes or something at one point. Like I was 225. Like I'm a big guy, but like I'm like, let's look in the mirror, dude. Like I'm not taking any of your advice. I'm doing the opposite of everything. I'm going to hit the gym harder. I'm going to keep eating what I eat. Like I was doing keto or something, and my cholesterol was high. And he was like, you need Lipitor. I'm like, bro, let's just stop with the Lipitor talk right now. So I'm going to call you Mr. Doctor, but I'm going to take your advice because you've been through what I've been through. Okay. So go. Where's
Grant,
I start?
Okay, well, you're the agent. You have that perspective. I'm a wholesaler. Just a disclosure, I'm not licensed. I need to give the disclaimer. No, this should be anyway. I'm in the state of Texas, so maybe different depending on your market or area or whatever it is, right? For me, I'm a systems first kind of guy. So I've seen so many people that, like you said, they bought into the ad or the dream. That's like, I'm going to tell you how to make $10,000 a month in wholesale real estate. All you need to do is come to this webinar tonight at 7 p.m. and I'll show you how to quit your 9-to-5 job. And that's exactly what it is, right? And so the expectation is set really high, and there's not really anything done on the fulfillment side. So that was part of where I felt the need to step in, is like people are just kind of like out there swimming on their own, or they get lucky. Like I would say that's one of the worst things I see happen is someone manages to string together 2 or 3 deals every other month. Maybe it's a 20 or 40K assignment, and they go like, oh man, like this is easy. Like I'm going to double my ad spend. I was like at 5Gs last month. I'm going to double 10. Maybe they don't convert anything out of that batch. Oh, it's fine. I'm just going to double it again. Boom, 20K in ad spend. And it gets to a point to where maybe now they're getting more lead volume. They may not even know how necessarily to handle the leads. So now they're hiring on. I need to get someone hired on. If they're not an experienced business owner, they don't know how to train the people. And so I've seen that happen a lot, to where people try to scale way too quickly and implode their business by doing that. So for me, the initial advice for someone to be starting out is like, if you have another job, definitely don't quit your other job. If you're making a good living, continue to do what you do. Maybe find what it is that you like in your regular line of work, and find out like, how can you still do that same thing in this real estate space? For me, the thing that made everything click the most was just starting to meet people. That's what made it real. I got my first deal after I went to a meetup and met a local wholesaler. Was like, these guys are doing this professionally for a living, so I know that it's real. And then I know if I need help, there's someone here. So if you're an agent, I think connecting with, new agents or a combination of new agents and people that are your senior as well that have the experience that can advise you and kind of help you along the way. Because for me, I wouldn't be successful in this game without having the network of people I do to rely on and ask questions.
Yeah, so that's interesting. You said systems first, and then you went into hey, go network. So it sounds like the system might come second. I mean, it sounds like you want to go out there, meet as many people as possible, and then get lucky, but along the way, set up the systems. Is that probably a better assessment of the?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm saying if you're going to start a business, you need systems in place first before you scale. But as far as like, if you were to say like, what's the absolute first step? Like, go out and meet people, which is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tough. I'd rather it's just a slower grind, right? Starting with a spreadsheet instead of starting with the networking event. But you're gonna meet people if you go out there and meet people. And what do you do with that data that you collect? So if I meet John at the open house, or not the open house, but a networking event, what do I do with John's card? And most of the time, it goes into a cup holder as a toothpick, and I forget about John until 6 months later, and I need something, and I go, "Hey, who's that guy?" And I just can't find his number in my phone because I never saved it, and so on and so on. So
Right.
I think we have to do the networking 100% of the time, but we have to get systems. And I think your angle is let's get these systems set up right away. And so what would you do? Like I'm a wholesaler, for example. Is it get a CRM? Is it and what kind of CRM? Is it get a spreadsheet? Um, do I buy leads? How do I filter all that in? So what's the first step? Get a CRM?
No, not at all. I mean, when I say system, I'm talking just very crudely in the sense of system, like just have some way of organizing it. I mean, it could be Notepad app, it could be Google Docs, it could be a physical sheet of paper. You don't have to spend anything when you're first starting out. When I started out, I called agents and made lowball offers, got cursed at, and then eventually I did enough of those to where an agent sent me a pocket listing off market. That was my first deal. So I kept track of that on a Word spreadsheet. So that's all I mean by systems. It doesn't even have to be anything sophisticated. You could probably be doing 6 figures a month and just using like a Word or an Excel sheet as far as your tracking. You don't have to have a fancy CRM or anything like that.
Yeah, because now you have fancy CRMs, and then the fancy CRMs don't work to their capability. Like they don't work as well as you thought they worked, and then you forget about it, and then you have to get a Zapier to connect something else. Like it gets convoluted in a way and overwhelming. And most of the time, people stop using their CRM. And so you're saying go back to basics. Use whatever you can to keep track of everything.
So I say start with basics, right? If you're not necessarily if you have CRM, don't use it. So someone asked what info are we collecting? So if it's like it depends entirely like on what you're doing. And if you're calling agents, you just need to have a list of the property, the agent's contact number, like very rudimentary KPIs, your key performance indicators. So for me, I like to keep track of like total number of leads, offers I've made, if I've how many times I've touched or followed up with that contact, if there's a contract sent, anything like that. Those would be kind of basic KPIs you would want to track and keep in your spreadsheet or database. Another thing about CRMs I see is that people I've went through their systems, they're relying heavily on CRM. I'll tell them, hey, the first touch I saw you made in the system was like 3 hours after the lead. Well, no, that's not true. The CRM messages them. I was like, yeah, but that's not a manual contact. And you get a manual sign up, like after you sign up for a link, it hits your phone. You don't pay any attention to that. You delete it or scroll past it. So it's like that doesn't count the same as an actual touch, a phone call, a manual SMS, anything like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a good point. I do just swipe through, even if I do get one of those auto texts. Um, so start with the basics, get something consistent is kind of the point. Do you have any recommendations for CRMs, whether you're a wholesaler, a real estate investor, a realtor? What CRMs have you seen that work the best, or what have you worked with?
I have very limited CRM experience, so I've heard great things from people about ReSimpli or REI Simply. I've heard that one is very helpful for tracking stuff. It does a lot of it in the dashboard. I'm familiar with high level. I don't even use it to the extent of what it's able to. You can go edit out all the chains. I usually just use it pre-packaged, whatever my marketing company did. I could be getting a lot more out of it, and doing a better job with it. I don't have the desire or the want to go in there and mess with all of that. I'm sure there's someone out there that does. Someone actually reached out and was like, "Oh, can you customize my CRM?" I was like, "I am not the guy for that, but if I find out who they are, we'll refer you to them."
Yeah. So go high level, Ari Simply. Have you used Follow Up Boss?
I've heard of Follow Up Boss. I've had a business partner that used that. He felt like it was solid. I think that's typically, is it kind of catered more towards agents?
It's catered more towards agents and lenders, maybe even. I'm using it on the wholesale side, and it's a little limiting in nature. The reporting's not as good as I thought it would be. And that's one of the topics we'll probably talk about in week 2 when it comes to kind of the scaling of this for week 3. Follow Up Boss, it has all the drip campaigns, it's customizable, but it's just not it's not that guy, right? It's not the full powerhouse that say Go High Level is. But Go
Sure,
High Level is the exact opposite where it's just too much. And
it
then you
is.
get stuck trying to figure something out and then you give up entirely. And so you would have to hire someone in nature to figure that out. Where Follow Up Boss, you plug a lead in and you have reminders and so on and so on. So I like Follow Up Boss. I've used Go High Level. Ari Simply haven't used. Tyler, what's the one that you guys use that used to be KV Core?
Bold Trail, but we get to choose, so we get a choice of different CRMs now for anyone with the team.
Nice. So it's Lofty or Bold Trail.
Yeah, or close. We may be getting Follow Up Boss at some point soon. We'll see, but pending. So yeah, we got a few different options. They're all really great. I mean, the best one is going to be the one that you use.
Yeah, I've heard that lingo before.
Sure.
That's a realtor phrase. I like that. So yeah, those are kind of the that's cool that you get them for free if you join your team only. Is that what you're saying?
Uh, you're asking me?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, no added cost, but I mean, I don't think free is the right word because they're very much not free. I mean, Lofty and what's the other one? Bold Trail, those are $400-500 a month. So that's not free, but we equip you with it if you're running with us.
Nice. That's cool. Um, all right. So those are kind of the CRMs you are familiar with and recommend for agents. In terms of data, like what are you looking at as a doctor? What's like, say you're gonna kind of look at my business. I set an appointment with the doc, and what's the first question you're going to ask during my physical? Basically, you're not going to go straight for my balls, right, and make me cough. You're going to ask me random questions, right? You're going to lead up to it.
Oh, random questions. Yeah, completely unrelated to your health. Like that,
Yeah.
definitely. No, I mean, like for a basic checkup, like what I do is an evaluation. I'm not a medical doctor, just disclaimer. Physical therapy doctor. So, like what I'm doing when I go into an evaluation, I'm seeing people in home, so I'm evaluating the home environment, and I guess you could liken that to maybe someone's CRM, like where everything resides, right? So their environment, and you get a real good idea up front of like, is this house kept well and orderly, or is it like a mess? Is there like cat hair and it smells like pee? Like you get a really good idea of looking into someone's system immediately. Like, are there detailed notes left right there? Did they document every follow up, or is it just like there was a note from a week ago, there's jarbled text over here? So you get a really good idea just of like that initial introduction to someone of like, okay, this is kind of what I'm walking into. I think I know what to expect. Um, and then like I start to perform the audit. Like if I was going to ask someone, are you wanting me to go through my audit process, or is that for another time? Or what do
I
you
mean,
want me to?
what's your first? If I'm setting an appointment with you first, how do we even set an appointment with you if we want your services?
Yeah, definitely reach out to me on the lead doctor on my IG handle. That's the best way to contact me for those type of services. And then based off of that, we could kind of chat a little bit about what each individual's needs would be. We have a few different packages. We've got the if you just want a one-off, we'll do a basic checkup. If it's something where maybe you're like a 1 or 3 man team, we recommend like we would have a specialty exam where we refer you to a specialist. And then if it's like you want the deluxe treatment, we'll do the annual physical, which is like a 1 year subscription where I'll check in with you quarterly. We'll do implementation calls, and so those would vary just by use. And so if you, I think Tim included the link down here, but IG handle the lead doctor, you can reach me there for that. You want
And
me to
then
give
so
like
you guys set an appointment, your first consultation. What are you're logging in, you're going through it, and what's the common theme you see in
yeah.
every single patient?
So going back to that, it's like, first of all, we're diagnosing the problem. So I need to get a little bit of background on the patient. So I want to find out like what have you been doing in your business? I want to know what all marketing channels, what things have worked, what things haven't worked, what's your prior history or experience? How well have you kept track of like your symptoms or your KPIs in this instance, right? Like what's the total number of occurrences of, if you're saying like this is the problem I'm running into. Okay, like, is there any pattern to that? Like, have you been documenting it? No, I don't keep track of it. Okay, well, we need to start keeping track of it if we haven't. If you are keeping track of it, let's see if we can find any pattern here of like what we're looking at. And then if we can start to identify some patterns, we've kind of got like baseline metrics of like what acceptable numbers are as far as standards in the industry for qualified lead to lead, lead to appointment set, lead to offer rate. We kind of know what the ideal standards are. So we can start to measure this person's CRM and process and like, is it measuring up to those standards or is there something lacking there? And if so, then we would kind of zoom in further.
That's cool. And then in terms of next steps after that, you said you had a quarterly service. Like, are you just checking to see if they're putting in the work that you recommended, or is it kind of like a mentorship or accountability calls at that point?
Yeah, it is. So we'll discuss kind of custom package plans too if someone needs more accountability, but like we'll start with a set number of leads like we do it quarterly. If we do it quarterly, we'll do like a set number of leads for maybe the past month because some people may not feel like they need to be monitored every month. Maybe they say like, hey doc, I'll check in a few months. I'm going to try the plan, check back in with me middle of year, end of year, and look over everything, tell me how I'm doing. Like when you went to your doctor probably, right?
Yeah,
When
yeah.
what's the meme about where it's like the diabetic patient tells the doctor like their blood sugars have been within normal limits, and then it's like, well, your hemoglobin A1C determines that that was a lie. And so we have the follow-ups for that reason, right? Just to verify like, have you actually been implementing what we're doing? And then if so, like, has it made any changes? And like, let's review the metrics again and see.
Yeah, you're a nerd for sure because you're getting like nerd memes. I don't get those memes. I'll tell you that right now. That's
What kind of
Okay.
cool. I
memes
mean,
do you
that's
get?
what'd you say?
What kind of memes do you get?
I don't want to know if you guys want to know. I get a bunch of real estate leads, memes, I should say. It's always
That's
like a
true.
real estate something, and then I'll get some random ones, and I'm like, wow, how did that pop into my feed? But then I'll go to my like group chats that I'm in, and I'll be like, oh, that makes sense. There's a couple obscene comments in there, so I'll get a couple funny ones here and there. Um, and then in terms of, let's go back to like lead management. Are there specific touch points you like to see? I know you like to touch leads right when they walk in the door, right? Right when they hit the CRM.
Ideally, yes. I think like if you look at the data that's been published across for different industries and stuff, I think you're gonna see like broadly 10 minutes, ideally less than 5 minutes. Realistically, like you want it to be as soon as possible. I think less than 3 minutes. If for me personally, if it's in my business, when I have my ads paused currently, but when I'm running acquisitions, like as soon as it comes in, I'm sending a text message manually right after that. Hey, we just got your submission, dial them, and then we have a prescription in terms of like what we recommend in terms of like follow-up sequence. I know some people say like you double dial, you triple dial, you voicemail, you leave all the touches, right?
There's all the tricks, right? That they claim work.
Yeah, they claim that it works.
Yeah. It's like a bad medication. It's like what was
Yeah.
that cough syrup that never really worked that people
Oh,
would take?
The
Yeah,
Robitussin, or
yeah, Tussin,
yeah,
Tussin. Yeah,
Yeah,
everything. Just take Robitussin.
it didn't
double
work.
dialing works if it goes straight to voicemail when someone's phone's in silent. Sometimes that can work.
Yeah,
Yeah, some of the data I've seen from Matt Ryder at Dialer.io, he kind of documented all of the dials and stuff, and it was pretty staggering. It's like most of the successful dials happen like in the first one or two, and it's just like if you triple dial and leave a voicemail and stuff, it makes it increasingly likely that your number will be flagged as spam. And so they're like, when that happens, some of the times it can sound like your phone call is actually going through, but the carrier's blocking it. So I'm hesitant to do that kind of after learning that fact, just because that affects your contact rate. And we both know that like talking to the lead is the most important thing.
yeah. Talking to him and getting to him first. I think I don't have this on my question list, but it's kind of segues well with it. How does AI affect the quality of lead follow up? Because on Go High Level, we've tried the AI and it works great. People have no idea they're talking to the AI via text message or phone call. But is that in a way hindering conversions for the better or worse? Or what have you seen AI kind of affect? And I don't want to go down the AI rabbit hole, but do the AI text messages work, and does that count as like a real touch point?
So for me, I don't count those as touch points. I mean, you could maybe argue that they are. I've done that when I've done outbound SMS. I had an AI assistant. I gave it a name, and like people would have long, detailed discussions and chats with Vincent, and they never wanted to sell their property though. I didn't have success with that particular marketing version. So
With Vincent wasn't the guy.
no, no. But on things like that where I don't have direct experience, I always tell someone like it's a case by case basis. Like, who am I to tell you what does or doesn't work in your business? The only way you know is you have to try it. I mean, that's the pinnacle of the scientific method, right? You try something, you measure it, you retest. Was there a difference? And that's really what you have to do in your own business, because it's going to be specific to market, what your marketing strategy is. So for me personally, though, I have not seen conversions with AI. Now, I have seen it some of the times it'll engage someone that has maybe been unresponsive, and then that then opens the door for me to hop on the phone and manually call them and say like, "Hey, I saw you just responded. It'd been a month or so. You responded to my CRM message, and my assistant messaged you. Were you still looking to sell that property? Did you get that taken care of? Whatever, right?"
Yeah, I
So I
I,
think
I
if you use it,
I've been
if you
using
use it
it,
as
and it's that same problem, right? It never takes people across the finish line. I think there was once where it actually like helped us move the needle, but it's just like so much back and forth, like you're talking to a real robot, and there's no ending, there's no call to action, and maybe there was something we have to change in the programming, but if it tripped up here or there, people would get turned off, and it would be repetitive in nature. Like, hey, I didn't understand that. Like, okay, now it's over. We know it's AI, and so it would really decrease our conversion, but it would be effective to get, like you said, re-engagement going, and also that first initial hit. Um, I think the first 3 to 4 minutes is key, and AI hits them, but you have to jump in right away. You can't let this machine keep going because it doesn't have a bank account. It has no reason to move the lead into the next stage. All it's trained to do is communicate, keep that person there, and try to set an appointment. Where
exactly.
my guy Steven, I don't know if Steven's on here, but he phone calls for me. His job is to set the appointment. Like, he's on the phone. Hey, I see your house is in pre-foreclosure. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Oh, can we come out today? He's texting me. Hey, I got a hot one. This is the address. Can you make it out today? While he's on the phone. AI would have just let that person on, and some other investor would have picked it up who was more aggressive. So I wouldn't depend on AI. So I was curious to see what your thoughts were. Just because AI doesn't have a bank account, doesn't have feelings, there's no urgency. all it wants to do is its job, which is set the appointment or answer the questions.
That's it. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's been my experience at least.
Yeah.
And I would say if you did manage to get a contract out of that, I would be really suspect because it's just like in this game, if it's easy, like something's up. Like this person really doesn't own the property, or they're already under contract with two other people, or I've had that where I've contracted something entirely through text, and I was just like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. No, the one time that it did work, the lady, she wouldn't pick up the calls. She only responded to the AI text, which was strange. She was 2 weeks from auction. We finally signed the contract via text. We finally opened escrow. We got everything lined up. Turns out she was wrong about the auction date. It got sold, and it was a total waste of time.
Yep.
So, and it was somehow our fault. I was like, all right, cool. Thanks for your time.
Blame
So
your
we talked about
AI.
AI. Yeah, it's always my fault. Um, Talk to us about just the handling, like day 1 through 90. We talked about day 1. We talked about days 5, 6, 7. What are you looking at? Like, if you're diving in deep, are you going historically and saying, "Hey, how come you didn't touch this lead or this record in the last 90 days?" Like, what should we be doing with leads every single cycle? Is there a cycle or a cadence that you like to see?
Yeah, great question. When you talk about cadence, are you talking about like in terms of call or follow up or
Anything. Yeah,
any?
anything. Like when, yeah, if someone raises their hand and says they want to sell, they want to buy, they want a loan, they want to be an agent, they want to join the team. Do we just call them for the 7 days, and what is that 90-day window? Like, people's lives are so different. Um,
Mhm.
what are you looking for per se with touch points?
Yeah. So initially, the very first thing we're looking is speed to lead. I would say if there's probably not a more important metric in your business. That's probably the most paramount is getting the lead quickly. And people give it lip service. They acknowledge that that's the fact. I had a guy today to where um, marketing agency hired me to kind of audit this guy's leads, and he he claims that, oh, we're calling those leads in 30 seconds to a minute after they come in. Well, I went through his entire CRM. Their average response, well, I didn't even do average. I was charitable and I said the median response time is 2 hours and 5 minutes. I was like, granted, you did have one that was within 1 minute, but the majority hours, days before they were ever engaged. Um, and he was like, yeah, no, I think we are. I mean, maybe there was a few times we didn't. And so that would be like the number one thing is just that would be the most important metric first off. Um, and it's just about that would make the biggest difference in this guy's business before me having to give him any type of, well, you need to call for, you need to text, and then you need to call, and then you need to call twice, and then you need to do this. I mean, those things are beneficial potentially, but if someone is not doing the very rudimentary things, like just doing the very basic thing right would make the biggest difference in someone's business. So I look at that as a healthcare professional too. I mean, doctors look at this like this person's overweight, they have high cholesterol, they have high blood pressure. Like we probably need to prescribe about 10 different medications. Why don't we maybe just do two for now, see if they can implement some lifestyle changes to where we don't have to completely shock their entire system. What's going to give us the most leverage with prescribing the least? And then let's
Mm,
sit back, see what that does, and then if additional intervention is warranted, like then we can talk further about the other things we need to do.
I like that. Yeah. And that's all going to be case by case, personality by personality. For me, it's been a struggle to manage all these businesses and 4 different CRMs and 4 sets of different personnel and processors and wholesalers and realtors and loan officers and loans and clients. And so for me, it's I have to have some sort of system in place and someone to do it for me to ensure all these people are being communicated to one way or shape or form. I'm almost to the point where I have to plug in a CRM for my family. Like, I'm using Calendar, the Google Calendar, more than ever. and that's now my CRM with like family time and making sure I contact my wife and kids at this time per day, and make sure I'm home by 6:45, 7 a.m. to help with breakfast. And like that's what I think a CRM does, and that's why it's important to see what everyone needs in their lives. But it's difficult for me to implement all those things, and I know everyone else has that same challenge. What's the first prescription you want everyone to take? Like, is it just to delete all and start over, or is it take your top 10 leads and work on those every single day?
So one of the things I like to see is if someone has some sort of way of ranking quality on their leads, like some objective way, not just like this lead sucks. They want too much for their house, like whatever it is. So we have one of the marketing agencies I've worked with, they just devised, I mean, it's entirely subjective, but it was like they rated it 1 to 10. And so it was like rating of 1, this lead doesn't answer, it's spam, or it's not in my target market, never contacted them, that's a 1. Versus a 10, they're in my target market, they're highly motivated, they have reason to sell in the next 30 days or less, they're willing to take an offer below retail price. Boom, 10. Like that's gravy right there. So if you have some sort of system, or we could suggest one to people, just how to rank your leads, because then that helps you to do the appropriate triage on them. I don't expect everyone to pursue every single lead in their CRM with the same urgency. Like you have to be selective, just because we have limited amounts of time, or even if you outsource it, you want your assistants basically doing stuff that's worthwhile, not just keeping them busy. So what I've done personally and what I prescribe is go through all of your leads in your CRM for anything that is a 6/10 quality rating. Go back and follow every single one of those and see, send a text, did you end up selling your place, whatever it is. If they respond yes, well, I mean, then that kind of verifies your quality ranking system that, oh, well, that I ranked them a 6, they did sell, so like my ranking system is valid because they did sell, just not to me. If you can find out more, maybe you could figure out more of what you could have done differently. But that would be kind of the first advice: is go through your leads, find those ones that maybe you don't have it ranked like that, but maybe you just have it like hot lead or warm lead or offer sent, went with another offer. I've gotten multiple deals that way. That's kind of my favorite lead to go after, is a lead that's contracted with someone else, and I know that it's contracted too high, and I just do the every biweekly follow up, the monthly follow up. Hey, how's it going? I know good and well that they can't close on it, so I'm gonna be right there ready to snag the contract whenever that other wholesaler falls out.
That's smart. Yeah. I've always looked at other wholesalers lists and kind of kept an eye on things, but never to a point where it's like tracking them. I like it. I mean, I think it's all data, right? You want to know who's doing what, who's going to close, who's going to get something too high. If it's too high, what happened? Did they get a price reduction, or did they just lose the deal? So I think it's good to have someone tracking all that. And I like the number system. I've heard people doing that before, but I've never really thought about it until now. And really, that's what an algorithm is, right? It's just a set of numbers
Mhm.
um, combined with a set of actions, and you have to create your own algorithm, and that's your number system. And so I think I'm going to implement that tomorrow. I'll tell my assistant to create a new column on the spreadsheet, and I think the sales guys need to go back and rank these leads, because it's almost like a come to Jesus, right? If it's a 1, it probably shouldn't even be on the list. It
It's
should
like
be.
it's triage, right? Like if you're using it, going to carry the medical analogy through, like you go into the
Yeah, you're using
ER.
a lot of big words for us realtors, like triage. You used some other big word before. I'm like, dang, bro, this guy's smart. I like it.
I have to flex a little bit if I'm the doctor, right? I have to
Yeah,
have
you
some
do. Well, you
credibility.
don't have
So
your stick a throat. What's it called? Stick it in your throat. Your little, I don't
the
know,
tongue depressor.
tongue depressor. Yeah, you don't. I thought you were gonna pull that out. I don't know.
All right,
There's
open
some.
wide. See what I have
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
No, but like, but going back to that, what you don't approach someone that comes in with a sore throat with the same urgency as someone that has chest pain or a leg fracture, right? So it's the same thing in your system. Like, don't go after every lead with equal intent. Like, find the ones that were higher intent that you're very close on. for whatever reason they fell out, whatever, go find those through whatever means you've assigned them in your CRM. Make your first follow-ups on those, and then work your way down the list. And then if you still have ones or something, most of those are usually spam. You just move those over to dead leads, clear out your system.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do that tomorrow with these guys. I think that's good because you don't want them. It looks good, right, on the hot list. It looks like you have 62 deals that are working. The notes look healthy, but if you rank them as a 1, we know they're gone. If they're a 10, let's get that thing signed. Let's get in front of those people. But I like that. That's a good analogy. It's a little different approach, and I've heard it before, but just never. You just brought it back to my attention, which is cool. All right, we're going to open this up. I have a couple more questions, but anyone has any questions, raise your hand. Tyler, you can help us out with that. We're going to be back the next 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to talk about, what data you're looking for, what touch points you're looking for, who's the low hanging fruit and why, stuff like that. I'll give you some questions so you're ready to go.
For sure.
But anything you want to bring up in this first kind of call that we haven't already?
No, I think that's a good introduction to everyone. And thanks for playing along with
Randa's
us.
in the house. I look at Randa's chiming in. What's up, Randa? Randa just started using her CRM, so I'm going to use her as my. She started using it maybe 6 months ago, and then somehow her business has just exploded. It's so weird how that works. And she's got 29 tasks that she still hasn't touched in the last 24 hours. So room for improvement, but it's also worked out.
Is one of those my loan?
I can't hear you. It's breaking up.
Is one of those my loan?
I'm joking. Probably. It probably was.
Come on.
Bro, you're the one who we gave you pre-approvals on the dot, bro, all times of the day. All right. No CRM necessary.
What is it? I got to give a shout out to Prestito.
There we go. Magic. All right. Anyone got any questions? I know Brian's got some hemoglobin questions. I don't know why he knows what that is.
Hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin. Rudy, you got any questions?
Question.
There we go, Rudy. What's up? Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about hard data. Do you track any soft data?
I don't know that I might know what you're talking about. Can you explain the difference between hard and soft data?
Like for example, like when you talk to people and everything, and let's say they just seem like they want to sell more. It's not something you can like really track, I guess, but it's kind of like soft stuff that you can't really put a number on.
Yeah, I would still try to objectify that in some way. So for instance, like I'll label motivation type and motivation level. I'll do those separately because maybe someone is selling because they want to downsize. I'm immediately going to expect that that's a lower intent lead than someone that's facing foreclosure in the next few weeks. Now, they may have the same level of urgency, right? If you've talked to someone in pre-foreclosure, some of the time they're like, my house is on auction in a few weeks, but like, I don't have to sell this place. Like, I'm going to figure it out. We're doing the loan mod. We've got to figure it out. We're fine. So they may have like the same intent, but to me, I'm going to attack the pre-foreclosure lead more because there's something imminent that's coming up rather than just someone that's like, oh, we have this house. We're getting a smaller house. We don't have to move. It would be our preference too, though.
Got it. So it sounds like you're quantifying it, based on however you can, really.
As much as you can be objective. I'm going to say that's like, because it's not you just saying like, oh, I don't like this lead. We want to be able to point back to data and objectively kind of verify as much as we can.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys are definitely nerds, dude. Nerds. You too, Rudy. You're a nerd. I like it. Rudy, you just got your license, right?
Yeah, I just got it. I think on Thursday or Friday.
Dang.
Nice. Congrats.
Newest member of the herd in the house, baby.
What brokerage is he?
You don't know? You really asking that? You really asking that, bro? Come on.
Yeah, he's running with the herd, baby. Of course.
He's on the herd.
Yeah.
I think it's important for him to set up his foundation now, right? Like Zach and Tyler, like we got to get him into a CRM. He's got the technology. He's got the connects from his fitness
For sure.
background. Yeah, so I think it's important for him to do that now. It's only 4 days in.
We already had his launch call. He's on game with everything, man. That's how we
Nice.
do. We're already sending it.
Nice. Well, since I have you, Tyler, what is that? What does the launch call entail? So you got Rudy. How it kind of goes hand in hand with the lead doctor. So what do you do to kind of help him get organized?
Well, we spend time. I mean, shoot, I think I spent 2 hours with Rudy actually, but we put a plan together. I mean, it entails a lot of things, but basically the day you onboard with us, you're equipped with literally like 100 different tools and resources. And most people, it's so overwhelming that they almost feel like stopping day one. So, my goal is to make sure we got clarity and an actual plan. So we talked about Rudy's goal. We talked about the key resources, things that I like to call the low hanging fruit. We have a few advantages that as far as how we can get our first few clients sooner rather than not. So I keyed him in on some things that we do differently than most others in the industry to actually do that. But yeah, part of that equation is kind of what you were hitting on, which is getting the CRM of choice locked in, which Rudy, I believe you have the info on what to do there. If somehow you don't after everything, let me know, because obviously it's a lot of stuff we covered. But yeah, in a nutshell, it's basically getting clarity as far as like what we're gonna do to actually progress towards the goal and achieve the first few wins and build momentum quickly.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is kind of overwhelming the first couple weeks. So I would say take it slow, break it down. It sounds like, speaking with the lead doctor, that just get some sort of going day one. It's, take it from me, it's harder 20 years in, go back to everything and all the resources that you guys have. Like, I hate CRMs. I hate
I mean,
all
back
that
then they
stuff.
just gave you a phone book, right, and told you to call.
Yeah, phone book, and then you would sit, and I hear there's still people who do this, that sit at like the front desk of their office and wait for the phone to ring, like the old
That's
school, like Coldwell Bankers or something.
that's the
And they
worst
have like
strategy
phone
ever.
time where that was the strategy back then. And then if a lead came in, you would write the name and phone number down and take out your Thomas guide and then go to the listing appointment. Only Tim
Wow.
knows what the Thomas guide is. But now we have all these follow-up bosses and AI. I got robots texting, and I'm skip tracing phone numbers on my phone and deal machine, and I'm pulling up mortgage history. Like, there's so much data and resources. It's overwhelming. Like, it's too much. Like, how many prop stream accounts do I need? How many CRMs do I need? How many MailChimps do I need? Do I need Go High Level? Do I need to go skip trace data somewhere else? Like, there's so much I have to worry about now. So I think it's important for Rudy just to step by step, break it down, start with what you can do today and track everything that you do on a daily basis. All right. Any other questions, concerns? Nobody has questions for the doctor. He charges for this. Okay. I know you guys are shy.
I'll send the bill. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, bro. I'm sure you will. Send it to Gilberto.
I think Tyler prepped me perfectly. I think he described it like feeding somebody through a fire hose, right? Which when we had a 2-hour call, and I was like, "What's this question? What's that question?" And I still have a bunch of questions I gotta ask him. What I was gonna say is, building a system sounds really, really important. And right now, I think that Tyler has provided like a pretty good like foundation of where to go, but I'm still kind of like putting stuff together like on the go as well. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of moving parts. So like for somebody who's setting up first in the business, I mean, what I'm doing right now is I'm like I'm bookmarking all the sites I need, like MyXP Homes, Okta, and I hardly even know what any of them do yet, really, in totality. What is your recommendation on system, like forming that kind of system?
I think just doing the thing, man. Like it's going to be a new routine for you when you first get adapted to it. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel clumsy. It's going to feel uncoordinated. You're going to have to think like, go back to your notes. What tab was that? After being immersed in it, it's going to become second nature. You'll find your pace and your own speed, and you'll immediately know like, oh, I need this over here in this bar. I need this over on this screen. I'm gonna pull this up. You're gonna have it mastered. So it's just really a matter of doing the business more than anything. You'll learn that along the way, and you're with the right group of people to where if any questions or something comes up along the way, if you don't know the answer, you've got access to someone that does. And that goes back to what I said about being a part of like a brokerage, a team of agents, other wholesalers, someone in your market that can kind of help guide you along the way. I think that's one of the key things that distinguishes people I see that are successful long term and other people that are just like, well, I don't do any joint ventures. I only work with end buyers, or I don't work with other wholesalers. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I mean, I've closed more in JV revenue than I have doing them myself. So
Yeah,
And
and
Rudy,
I would
your background. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tyler.
I would bookmark your key links, man. You don't got to be an expert at everything, but it is important you know where to find the key things. Like, so if you see something you're like, huh, I'm probably gonna need this later, like just make a folder in your bookmarks or something like that, wherever, like whatever your go-to web browser is, and just like drop stuff in there whenever it's something that you feel like you might need to come back to at some point.
Got it.
Cool.
What were you saying,
All
Elsie?
right. I forgot my question. I'll remember it and then text it to you.
Okay.
Jace, you're up.
All right, so I heard Zach say something that was kind of telling, and I was doing this the other day. But when I'm going through my systems, I'm kind of thinking, and I'm writing it out on my Word doc or on my Google Doc, step by step. I'm going here, I'm doing X, lead comes in. I'm thinking about the whole tip to tail follow up from whatever that lead source is, thinking about how it's in my CRM. Now, is that what you guys are doing? Or have y'all just had, because it sounds to me like you guys are like 4 or 5 years down the road and you've already got so much experience in it that you've already got a mental map of that.
I think that's it, you, Josh.
I mean, are you asking what you don't want to know what I specifically, like I suck at, I'm going to be the first to admit it, but I guess what's your question exactly what's my system look like?
Yeah, and how do you like is that what you do to verify you have a good system? Like, or what? I guess that's my ultimate question. How do you verify your system's good?
I got stuck with Follow Up Boss from like a person I used to work with, and I don't think it's the best, like I said, but the system I have is get a lead, go through the CRM, have a 90-day touch point calendar, whether that's a call or text or follow up, and then set reminders through the system that kind of trigger your phone to make you call and follow up. But my system's pretty simple. It's get the lead in, get it into the CRM as soon as possible, set up the campaign, make sure you mark and tag everything correctly so the proper drip texts go out, and so on and so on. But if you're just using a pen and paper, I mean, your options are, hey, I got to look at this thing every single day. I got to have a copy of it wherever I go, maybe multiple copies, because my CRM goes with me. I have an app, and it basically is what I'm trying to explain. So have that all written down and make sure you're keeping track of when you do touch them, and you always have that handy sheet of paper with you to remind you of what you need to do until you get to the point where you have a CRM. And you don't have a CRM right now at all?
No, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got Lofty.
Nice. Lofty's good. But it's limiting in nature. It's still not the perfect CRM, but it works. It works for the time being. Cool. All right, lead doctor Tyler, what do you got?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and Jace, I saw that you had completed the SOP. Like, I guess the assignment we had last week was to create, like, basically draft up what your SOPs were for something. So I saw you had done that, Jace. So shout out to you. And if anyone else did it, I'm not sure if you sent it or where you might have sent it, but Jace is on the team channel we have. So yeah, that's what we did. Also, yeah, I just realized I didn't tell you that, Josh, but that's what we did last week was create some SOPs basically.
Nice. That's cool.
But yeah, who else has a question?
Can you share what your SOP looks like, Josh?
Which business?
For all of
All of
them,
them?
you have to have a master SOP for how you're gonna do all of your businesses, and then for each individual business, you have an SOP.
You're asking for way too much out of me right now. I have one that just says survive on it, and it's like just get lucky every single day, and that's what I do, Zach. I get lucky every day.
That's
based
amazing.
on all the chaos that I do. But yeah, I mean, I probably do need a master SOP and then break it down into the different businesses. But what does that look like? I mean, they all kind of blend and bleed into each other. And there's not like a moment in the day where I'm carving out 1 hour for mortgages or 1 hour for social media. Sometimes with videos, like we have to carve out 30 minutes, 45 minutes to record, but it's still bleeding into other situations. So my SOP would in nature would be fluid. But it's ultimately get leads, get them to the right people, close those leads, and make some money.
I like that. I like that that kind of speaks to how dynamic this can be. For some people, they need something that's very regimented and rigid. Like, I need to time block here. I need to time block to do this, cold call during this time, inbound leads during this time, follow up during this time. For some people, just they're like, my work circumstance does not allow for that. So I'm very much in the same boat as you, of where I have like a rough outline maybe in my head of what that looks like. But the thing is, I'm still tracking the metrics. So at the end of the day, I can still say like whether or not something worked, because I can say I still make this many dials, I make this many offers, I get this many contracts, I close this many deals. Maybe it's not ideal. Other people could do it different ways, but I can verify like at least this is what works for me.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's where everyone needs to be. It needs to be some sort of system, and it needs to be trackable and traceable and repeatable in nature. But it doesn't have to be very strict. Like do this
It
at
should
this
fit
time.
it should fit your lifestyle, right? Like you shouldn't be slave to your account. Like it should work for you, not against you.
Yeah. And then I mean this is random, but mindset even a factor in all this? Like with your approach to be systematic, or is it just kind of fugazi, whatever that word is? Is it a fake thing? Everyone's like, oh, it's your mindset. You have to be able to carve this, and this out and be organized. But I don't think it's mindset. I think it's just fundamental nerd stuff that you have to get done. Like I made fun of you guys, like you specifically in high school. I didn't go to high school with you, but like guys who would track everything, from even like the macros to like weightlifting and tracking all that, and like that's even hard for me. And I have an app that doesn't. It's still hard to track because I like beer and I don't really want to track that, but at the same time, you could tell the difference between a guy or girl who tracks versus a person in the gym who doesn't. 100% of the time, I'm the guy who doesn't track. I'm not in tip top shape, but I got decent size arms, right? And I don't have a big gut. But the guy who's got a six pack, who's 4% body fat, I know he's tracking every single H2O breath that he takes, and his sleep and all that stuff. So I don't think it's so much mindset versus just get it done, get the systems in place so you can win.
You don't daily in the morning in the mirror when you're getting ready tell yourself like how handsome and how accomplished and how successful you are.
I used to until like I was like, man, you're lying to yourself, bro. Just go work, like just get to work, bro. And so that's what we do. We just work. But you have to have that foundation of like tracking your macros in business every single day.
I think it gets addictive once you have success from doing it. So I think for someone that is maybe on the fence, if they can see like a visual difference, just like with anything, if you go on a new eating plan, new weightlifting plan, it's not exciting when you first start it. It gets exciting a few months in when you start to see some of the results, and it tells you that the things you're tracking, the things you're doing are actually making some sort of difference. And I've seen this with myself, and just like, oh, I wasn't tracking these things. Now I am. I see success. I don't have to like go motivate myself to do it. I have a mental list in the back of my head as soon as I've finished one task. Well, that's the next thing that I need to do right now that's going to produce income. I need to do that. Okay, I've done what I've done on that one. I need to go to this next thing now. So I just kind of making the start on that is really the biggest part of it, I feel like.
Yeah, I like it. All right, I think there's one more question. Are these types of things you should do to help when you hire people to plug into your business? I think that's your answer. But yeah, eventually.
Is he talking about tracking or motivating? I would say yes. Like you need some sort of SOP, even if it's very primitive. I mean, we're basically just talking about a rough draft or an outline of how to structure things. It's a little bit intimidating to hear like all these metrics and things, and you can get very granular. To some point, probably the benefit at some point is just very marginal, is in terms of like trying to dial in every single thing. But we're just talking about if you're not doing the big things, like what can we get the biggest effect of the most amount of leverage by focusing kind of on these major things if we're not doing anything. So yeah, absolutely, you would implement those things in a business, especially at scale.
Yeah, it's basically
All
an
right, cool.
outline of all the everything that would happen that would need to have happen with like that specific role. So you definitely would want to outline that, when and if you're expanding with anything. It could even be a TC, but if they're a solid TC, they could probably tell you what their SOPs are, but you want to make sure it aligns with like your business and your needs as well. But like, anything beyond that, it's just that's the start of a system, is like literally outlining what happens at every step along the way, to the point where someone else could take that and follow those steps and achieve the desired result with it.
Are you saying pretty much a SOP, all it boils down to is just an if then map? If this, then this.
I think he is.
What me or Jace? Jace had the question there.
Flowcharts
Well, I
is
was
what Tim
talking.
said.
Yes, I like flowcharts. I mean, you have workflows inside CRMs. Same idea.
Oh, I like it.
So there we
All right,
go.
well,
I think that concludes the second week we have of the series on systems, right? So we'll be back next week to pick it back up.
programming challenge. Yeah.
If
Programming language. That's a good one, Rudy. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Come with some questions. We're going to dive into some specifics. I'm going to ask Zach to jump into my CRM and be my doctor for a session so we can actually use me as an example, because I know a lot of you guys are like me in nature, very handsome and hungry individuals who want to make as much money as possible and don't really have SOPs and don't really have foundational systems in place. And so if he's going to pinpoint and look at my mistakes and show you guys what my mistakes are, and I'll be humble enough to accept that, I think it'll help a lot of people. So we'll try to do that in the next 7 days and then have that ready for you guys next week. But have some questions for us, and we'll see you guys next week. Oh, we got one more question. Do we have time for one more, Tyler? Or you got to go?
I mean, up to you. I mean, I'm just trying to shoot a buzzer beater here. We want to see
Go for it. Do it fast. Do it fast.
Let's go. We got our second newest member of the herd with a question. Let's hear it.
Hey, what's up, team? It's not really a question, more like a comment based on my experience. So, as far as systems, I'm like very much a systems guy. However, as like a new agent, I got caught up in trying to create my systems. I think I was narrow-minded and kind of like crippled myself. I was offered a referral from Tyler, and my response was, "Well, I don't have my system set up yet." And his response was, "What does that mean?" And kind of like, it was kind of like a light bulb moment. And I was like, okay, so I'm not saying don't create systems, but on the other hand, you can kind of like get caught up in creating systems and lose focus on the main goal, and that's generating leads and getting out in front of people.
I like it. Yeah, it's like the agent who's like, oh, I can't do anything because I don't have my business cards yet. Like, you don't need business cards, bro. Just go out there. Someone asked me for business cards the other day. I was like, what? Stop, dude. Just go make the phone call. You don't need a business card. You're not going to even last in this industry to have 1,000 business cards. Anyways, I like that. Thank you very much. That's a good outro. We'll see you guys next week. Zach, the lead doctor, thank you so much. Everyone give Zach a follow. He should have 22 follows by the end of the night. If not, you just didn't kill it, Zach. We got to do better next time.
All right. Well, I had very little time to prep, no script, so completely unscripted.
No script, no makeup. You're in your car. Like we gotta get you like a camera crew.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. All right, man.
We'll talk to management. All right.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you guys.
Later, boys.
Jason, no SOP. Love it.